you would be having your big speakers on Sunday, and Monday morning, something called Gaoganediwe comes in and asking for permits. But did our parents deter to doing it again on that Sunday? No. Sunday speakers are out again. Monday they come and arrest them or whoever didn't have permits. I wanna applaud your agency, Baba, that Gauteng tourism is one destination that doesn't only sell what you see, the B&Bs, the sightseeing, traditional things, but sells the music too, sells the arts and crafts. So when you come to our province, it should be standard. Jazz journeys started in all provinces, but the destination is Gauteng. So we are blessed to have all the jazz sounds from South Africa. Whether it's a PE sound, whether it's a Durban sound, whether it's a Manning sound. It all landed here in Gauteng. That's where people came to work, where people came to look for greener pastures.
It is the month of August here in South Africa. We celebrate this month as Women's Month. It's a month in which we shine a spotlight on phenomenal women here in Gauteng Lifve, your premier platform where we discuss everything the visitor economy, the creative sector, but we also interface it with the broader visitor economy. Today, I'm joined by a special guest, a dear sister, a friend of mine, a phenomenal woman in her own right. I will need an hour just to do her introduction and bio. The CEO of Team Music Man, the producer of Joy of Jazz, a wannabe chef, somebody who also plays around in the garden when she is not listening or trying to select artists. My dear sister, CEO, Team Music Man, Miss Mantwa Chinoamadi, welcome to Gauteng Live.
Thanks for having me. Baba.
And I guess with so many responsibilities, and to those that says, oh, even show event producers, show companies, does the festival, but only the CEO. So what does a CEO at T Music Man do, Sismando?
Well, when you are a CEO, you are the brains of a company. New initiatives. I always find myself sitting and say, what next? After giving your little bit of your dream to your team and say, this is what I'm dreaming of. And they go out there and thresh it out, bring it back to you. You look at it and say, no, yeah. I look at the finances of the company. I look at, the stand of a company as Team Music Men. Are we that brand that's sustainable? Are we that brand that you can go out traveling in Brazil and say to somebody, hey, I'm Barba, and there's a company called Team Music Man in South Africa.
And I guess growing up, and as we continue to reflect on women's struggles, as a young women, and our music have always been housed in the golden province of Gauteng, Egoli in Johannesburg, in particular. From the times Abotata Mandela running away from the Eastern Cape and many other artists, mainly because of the infrastructure, the effect of mining that created this city. Your first recollection as a young woman growing up, not as a CEO, young women growing up and saying, I want to go check up this gold, or there's this thing about gold. What is it? Do you have memories of your first encounter, with the Golden Province?
I was born and bred in Shawela, Kosowetu. I've always been in the province. And though my dad and my mom, they are originally from Limpopo, came to Johannesburg and stayed here, and this is where I was born. So my encounter with just being in this province, I didn't even know it's a province. I was like, I Kidula Koshawela. That's all that I knew. But in this space where it was full of music, in Soweto, if you one of the Sowetans, they will tell you, because Sunday when we come back from church, everybody takes out their speakers and, play the music out loud. And my dad was a very brilliant music collector. He really introduced me to all genres, but most of it was jazz.
And that influence, the speaker out, the LPs are there, and dad is cleaning the shoes, and the music is playing. But the music is playing not in a normal environment. In a township, declared as places for people to just stay and not actually work.
Yes.
No business must happen there. It must be a place where we source labor for the economic activities in the CBD. To what extent did music, soothe the toils and the tribulation and the challenges of those days, not just as young women, but as the society and the family living in that space in an abnormal environment?
Look, it was bad. You would be having your big speakers on Sunday, and Monday morning, something called Gaoganediwe comes in and asking for permits. But did our parents deter to doing it again on that Sunday? No. Sunday speakers are out again. Monday they come and arrest them or whoever didn't have permits. And I think consciously, I personally was fed music that will show me the way. Your music yabo Miriam Makeba, music yabo Mele Tambuli. So in my household, those were the music that was played. Bontate Keifas, Bobra Hugh, Bobra Jonas. So you would listen to this music that's steering you to a direction that says, do you see what is happening?
And the music with a conscience, I guess that's what we will characterize it. Timeless music. To what extent did that, Sis Mantwa, the patience that you saw from your parents, still going in ahead the next Sunday, putting out the speakers out, and the music continues to come in, album after album from Ntate Katsi. There's consistency, there's quality. From Umamaleta Mbulu, there's consistency, there's quality. There is no testing of waters. To what extent did that shape ultimately your posture and how you are running, for example, or how the Joy of Jazz has been shaped? One of the premier platforms in these 26 years. Because in my own view, this is one of the few where there's just consistency throughout, even when the environment, like Abu COVID, financial crisis, sponsors issues, but there's just this consistency that comes through. To what extent did that upbringing and the guide that was there from the parents and the environment shaped how you also produce the work that needs to be consumed?
I always tap back to my childhood and I say, and I can stand on my one foot and say, that speaker outside my house, my dad's friends coming with their own LPs, taught me that music is to be shared and music is to be taught. Because he would play his music, they will play their music and the other one and the other one. Now, for me, as I'm sitting now as Mantwa, I realize, or I am sure, that we need to put together events that are good enough to be shared with other people, the consumers. However, we need to give us time to sit down and listen to what do the people want to hear.
Absolutely. And that, I guess, creates consistency, because what you want to hear can't just comes once off. Because the diving back to that consistency over and over again, every Sunday, the speaker is out. And if I had played Stimela this week, I'm more determined to come up with a surprise next Sunday. And that created a culture of wanting to find out, wanting to dig in.
Yes.
But during the week and in the process, you also have your own toils. You have race relations that are not normal. You have all of those things. And now, let's go to, the importance of that being led by, people that understand and appreciate what they are doing, and taking that, fast forward that to the legendary Brapita Tladi, who many moons ago had a vision of founding this company and this property. Will you say that expanded, that parenthood that you had that guided you, now jumping into this legendary Brapita, whom ultimately you have to work under?
Look, when I'm related to him, very closely related to him. When he married my sister, he was a guy in the music industry. And I used to go to school in Braamfontein, and me want to save money to buy a leather skirt called Citation. So I would save my transport money, go to his office. That's how I started blackmailing people a long time ago. Go to his office. It's always been in me.
Okay.
I'll go to his office and say to him, I need a lift home. Yeah. But then when I'm waiting for him to knock off, I would be all over that T Music Man's office. I would be asking people that are booking. Yeah. T Music Man was an artist agent. Yeah. So I would be sitting there and say, okay, how do you book? Yeah. There were no computers. Yeah. It was all handwritten and a phone. And a phone call with forms. Yeah. So I would learn to do that. And I think he saw that passion in me. And when I was in, some gap space when I didn't really know what to study, he would then say to me, okay, come and work and help Queen co-officing. And then I was appointed to be the voter education rally project manager. Okay. So he's seen that in me. Maybe even at home, how will I be the organizer of the party? You said I want to be a chef. No, Annie, I'm a cook. Yeah. So I would be that person who wants to put things together. Yes. So he saw that in me and he said, I think this is the direction that we have to steer her to. I never thought I would be in this position that I am. I was just shown, with a warm hand and a guidance of a man that really believed in the arts and culture of South Africa.
And Mantwa, how important is that mentoring, especially as we look at, for example, the music industry right now, the event space right now, where, because the space is opened, anybody can do anything. So there is everyone trying to do everything. Mm-hmm. So how important is that hand that holds you, that guy that continues, especially for young women, in the space, who might not have, dads and uncles and brothers-in-laws and the like that are in the space, to handhold somebody and say, hey, there are pitfalls here, but I can help you navigate.
It's very important. I know we close ourselves in our spaces and in our little offices. You're the CEO, but it takes a person's personality and character to say, what legacy do I want to leave as Mantwa? Do I want to, in a few years when I'm retired, there should be somebody who I have cushioned, who I have guided, directly or indirectly. I always say to young girls, the space that we are in, the music industry was very male dominated. Women were just backing singers and that's all. But the artists took upon themselves to be lead singers, to be lead instrumentalists. So you see, it's changing not only on what we are doing or what we could do, but the people that we are working with are already changing the narrative. Young women sitting everywhere in the world, if you have somebody that's saying to you, you are capable of doing this. I want to be known as the producer of Standard Bank Joy of Jazz, not the female producer. It becomes a long thing, So I always went out there and said, we can do it. Women are born multitasking. Organizers. We do it at home. It's in us. It's in our veins. It's in our DNA. So put a woman everywhere and anywhere. I promise you, Baba. Something has to.
Without a doubt. The music and that, going back to that LP listening session and the jazz music, at Gauteng Tourism, there is a drive to build a jazzy GP route, where you are able to trace, the history of jazz, located within the townships, jazz joints, and the like. How important is that music and the jazz sounds in particular in one reminding us of our past, but also using that heritage to reimagine the future? How do you deal with those that says jazz sounds are old, but how important it's that old sounds in shaping the current and the future?
Remember, people used to say jazz is for old people?
Yes.
And people like myself came to the scene, and I would bluntly say, I don't know the other genres of music. Yes, I do hear them, but ask me anything about jazz, I'll be interested. Fast forward, musicians themselves, young artists, are delving into the jazz scene.
Absolutely.
Jazz is very young. The evolution of jazz is now. Should we not have programs like yours, like the GP programs of the jazz roots? How would these young people know about their history? There is nothing frustrating like a person who doesn't know where they come from, because they would definitely not know where they are going. What you are doing in your program, it's very important, because you need to revisit somewhere where you have never been. So that you can be able to adapt that and take it and shape it to the future and the now.
And I guess that brings us, and big ups to Standard Bank Joy of Jazz for introducing and working on this young people in jazz program. And I've seen it's gaining momentum. You're doing road shows. It's going out there and dispelling this myth. If you look at the schools that are out here, your music schools, your academies, and the like, people goes there very young. But the teachings and the grounding and the wholesomeness that gets built out of musicians and artists, having studied and being immersed in jazz, in my view, is timeless and actually shapes you to deal with any specific genre, because it addresses the fundamentals.
Welcome to Gauteng, a golden city region pulsating with the rhythm of its bustling streets, from Soweto's Vilakazi Street to Treu and Mamelodi. In these streets, we connect people, weaving through the lively energy. Here, food tastes of Africa in every bite. Roll the true #GP Lifestyle Way with Mogodu Monday. Amashisa nyama kwa mai. Starry skies and city lights ignite. Sip sundowners and enjoy fine dining at Desabline, Kodi Rooftops. Sentence Sandek, Maboning Premium Lifestyle Rooftop, Lepo Biblos Cafe. It's a vibe. This is Gauteng, truly unique. Experience the rhythm for yourself. Woza nabangani bakho, Diansa eGoli, where luxury meets urban charm. Our hotels and township homestays offer world-class amenities and personalized service. Whether you're here for business or leisure, Gauteng is your pleasure destination of choice. With you, we are delicious. We conquer hard. Richilagasi, Rasenton. We do business, tourism, and we are the home of champions. Experience a true African premium hospitality in a let that thing. We're a sports enthusiast paradise. From the roaring F&B stadium to the Kasi community field, the passion for sport runs deep. For Mr. and Miss Serious Business, our infrastructure is perfect for corporate trips. Connect to the Sandton Convention Center, just 15 minutes from OR Tambo International Airport by Gauteng. Gauteng is the economy and its people that drive us. Here, opportunity thrives and dreams become reality. Our vibrant business landscape, cutting-edge infrastructure, and a talented workforce attract global entrepreneurs. Invest in Gauteng. Be part of our golden story. Gauteng means business. Looking for our heart, soul, and spirit? It's in our townships. Immerse yourself in our history, art, traditions, music, fashion, and go beyond the ordinary to Usurper Art Gallery, Africa's first digital fine art NFT gallery. Then take in music, dance, pantomime, and drama. From bustling markets to lively cafes, Gauteng's vibrant lifestyle lights up the days. Artistic expressions dance on the walls. Culture thrives within the urban sprawls. And then there's the Vaal River, our coastal region, abundant with water sports. Kayakers and rafters ride the stream as golfers swing clubs with effortless grace. Fly, drop, swing from dizzy heights and thrill in the feeling of adrenaline surging through your body, and then creep through tunnels and caves. Touch base with your common human ancestry, the cradle of humankind. Or experience the tranquility of the skies from a hot air balloon above the striking Magaliesberg. When your city buzz barometer hits red, head to the Gauteng Game Reserve for a Big 5 bushveld safari and embrace the untamed and Africa in one. We play, win, and stay safe as one. We are Gauteng.
How do we reinforce this message without necessarily demeaning other genders?
Show the kids the likes of your Zoe Mudicha, who studied jazz and majored in jazz at a young age. Show them the Titi Luzipos of this world. Show them the Dr. Nduduzo Makatini of this world. Studying something, when you go out there to practice it, I think it makes it easy. Because this thing you have been taught in the books, now you are going to have to do it physically. I would wish, and I always say to parents, when they come to you and say, Ma, I want to be a musician, no matter what kind of music that they will be going to present, take them to school.
It's okay.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Take them to school. Let them go and learn it.
Yeah.
There's so many beautiful, beautiful young artists in Just for Young People program that we had. They blew us away.
Yeah.
They were playing the old jazz music, the Victor Antonio of this world.
Yeah.
Just to show us that we can do this. When they get out of that space and do any other music, they have background.
Yeah.
Zakes Bantwini is
Absolutely.
one of the
One
biggest
of the biggest
examples
yeah.
who studied music in jazz, but he came out and did something.
himself, Black Coffee himself.
Black Coffee himself.
Yeah.
You see,
Yeah.
all those. So look at that and say, yes, take them to have a basic, a base,
A foundation.
Yeah. Every music comes from jazz.
And as we look at the jazz music and its ability to then tell the story, our job here at Visit Gauteng is to propagate, is to evangelize, is to tell the destination story, encourage visitation, get the revenue out of the visitation, and develop the destination further. So you speak of jazz sounds and locations all over the world. The cities, the spaces comes up. New Orleans of this world are synonymous with the genre that characterize that space. Are we doing, or have we done enough in South Africa to lift the importance of jazz in telling, showing, and advocating our story, our destination, our spaces, and our places? Apart from the song saying it sounds of Sophia Town, or is it just in the labeling, or are we actually understanding that this is our identity and our spaces and places reflected through music?
Jazz journeys started in all provinces, but the destination is Gauteng.
Yeah.
So we are blessed to have all
Yeah.
the jazz sounds from South Africa, whether it's a PE sound, whether it's a Durban sound, whether it's
a Manning-Beck.
It's a Manning-Beck sound.
Yeah.
It all landed here in Gauteng.
Yeah.
That's where people came to work, where people came to look for greener pastures.
Yeah.
So it's up to us as a province
Yeah.
to then say, how do we then build our province based on this? New Orleans will give you the New Orleans sound, but Gauteng will give you the South African sound.
Absolutely. And for me, it's how then do we build and bring all the other role players? Because with the limited resources, how then do you have somebody, my job is to tell the story about Sophia Town. There lies an opportunity to use one genre to actually pull all this together and propagate it to world at a fraction of what you will have cost, but also making sure that everybody is in. The advantages of all these sounds that have converged here, together with the original sounds that comes from your Mamelodies, your Sophia Town, your reflection on that.
Look, in my dreams, in one of my dreams, is to one day have an event that says, including the Joy of Jazz itself, an event that says, actually come to Gauteng.
Yeah.
You know, this is where you'll hear the best jazz.
Yeah.
Because we know we have everybody here. If tourism authorities like yourself or tourism agencies like yourself that have come up and say, yes, the tourism sector is good, but what people see and what people hear goes together.
Yeah.
And I want to applaud your agency, Baba, that Gauteng Tourism is one destination that doesn't only sell what you see, the B&Bs, the sightseeing, traditional things, but sells the music too, sells the arts and crafts. So when you come to our province, it should be standard.
Yeah.
When you go to other places, like the same New Orleans you mentioned, you are going to buy a T-shirt, you're going to buy a cup, you're going to buy the beads, you're going to.
Yeah.
So we are slowly getting to the spot of being that destination place.
And how is the sector like? With this being institutionalized, with the province leveraging on the rich history housed in the actual protagonists, the artists themselves, who are still here, some of them building music schools, building academies, or partnering with existing space. To what extent is the sector also coming on board? To what extent are we preserving these sounds? I know, for example, the APs, the records are back, and but how do we also, in the preserving of this, create new opportunities, and especially for the sector? Will you say, if that gets done better, we'll actually have a music economy, that, like you said, jazz is everything, and jazz drives all the genres, that is family anchored on this jazz heritage that we have?
If we get to a space where, when you say, or sitting with a young trumpeter and you say, pick up your piece and play, and they play a Huma Sekela, we are winning.
100.
When you sitting with a young singer, whether it's in school, and say sing, and they sing a Sobongile Kumalo or a Mam Abigail song, we are winning. So as long as we are able to develop the younger audiences and participators, we then will be able to preserve the jazz. I know that we are sitting on what we had. We're not focusing on what we can have.
And I guess that's where the young jazz program that you are running comes into place, to work solidifying what exists, to pioneer. When may his soul rest in peace, aka, was an issue about the song that he was singing, of Brakatse Siminya. And I guess that's the direction we need to be taking. Young people need to actually revisit that space, to re-energize themselves, to activate their inspiration, because these are the legends that have seen it all, tried and tested, not only dealt with music and sector challenges, but the atrocious conditions of apartheid that they lived under, that they had to fight, through music. To what extent can now, moving forward, appreciating that the African continent is Mantwa is fairly youthful. If you look at Gauteng, it's a microcosm of the continent, a very youthful province. 8 of the 13 universities are found here in Gauteng. Does that give you sleepless nights to say, how do we tap into this audience, and how, in the space where there's multiple genres that are being born every day, how do we entrench the heritage of jazz and use it as a teaching, especially to this a young audience? And does that create an opportunity actually for longevity for the genre?
Look, I first heard that people are called Gen Zings, and they're what? Yeah. And I said, what is that? And they said, Mama Mantwa, you're not in that category. I think when you surround yourself with younger people, when you surround yourself with fresh experiences, as a person, as an entity, you'll be able to grow. Coming to young musician tapping into, the old songs, the old music, or the old stock that we had, we see it every day. I listen to Ipupolga Piko. And I want somebody to argue and say it's not jazz. That's a story for another day. Their messaging is telling
spot on
a journey of from where we are we were from to now and to where we are going. So as long as we have young musicians like Bo Kujenga, I think those kids are, not even older than 21. We still have to buy cakes and keys for them. But the messaging of their music, you can tell they know where they are rooted from. We are blessed to have young musicians that are conscious about their roots, first and foremost.
And I guess, I remember there was an era when there was something, I don't know, called Kwai Jazz. I don't know if you remember.
Don Laka's
Kwai Jazz.
He actually, I think I love that sound. Because that sound had then opened up an ear to somebody who said, I can't listen to this piano going twing and run there.
And
he gave them something vibey and fast. And really we have to thank people like Bobra Dawn to say you left something. You planted a seed that said to young people, you can be a jazz singer and be quiet, or a jazz musician and be quiet at the same time.
And quiet is our characteristics. We are khafar.
Exactly.
We are quiet, danger, ingozi, we are chaser, But heritage and living heritage like Abu Bradon, Abu Bab Vusima Thlasela, went in a program, a studio at Cornhill, the Flame Studios there. I saw him on the recent global brand campaign for South African tourism, and I was so happy that while we are targeting the now, that message includes our living heritage in propagating that. How important is it, Sis Mantwa, to house and take care and involve these living legends of us, and not only in commercials or commercial deals, but also continue to expose them to the current audience by booking them?
It's very important. It's very important, and there's one collaboration that stands out for me, or two collaborations that stands out for me at the Joy of Jazz. Tandin Tuli will be performing and featuring Sipho Hostix Mabuza and all Alak Khawdi. So you ask yourself, does she even know these guys? So it shows you she has been listening. Billy Munama will be performing and Tate Mos Mokhale and Bravus Mahlasela. So you see, the younger people are the ones that are going there to tap into that knowledge, to tap into that talent, so that they can expose them to the younger ones. If there's a kid who doesn't know Alek Khawdi or Sipho Hostix Mabuza, but knows and follows Tandin Tuli, they will be at the festival wanting to see what is it that she's going to do. What do they call us? Our generation?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the same one.
The same one. But I guess there lies the heritage as we move into the world of media consumption, multi-screens. People are on their WhatsApp, they are watching TV, they are listening this, and how generally consumers consume information. The future lasts very much on how the past has been shaped, and how, for example, groups, how the likes of Harare that ended up, creating Abu Sipho Mabuza, and still had a powerful group, but also still have solo careers, and there were no issues or fights over there. And how does a platform like the legendary Joy of Jazz, continue to evolve and shape this story? Like I'm saying, bringing in new artists, touching on the new and evolving audiences, but building it on a very strong foundation for 26 years going, despite the 2 years of COVID. Surely this needs some special attention and maybe some magic wand from your side, ST Music Man.
We always say to ourselves as a team, yes, we want to serve the consumer what they are listening to, but there is also a window and an opportunity and a space to feed the consumer what they haven't had.
Yeah.
If you haven't had an artist, say you've never had or seen Bra Hugh performing, may his soul rest in peace. The Standard Bank Joy of Jazz is that platform that would have brought a band to perform Bra Hugh's music.
Yeah, or the Bra Hugh band.
The Hugh Masekela band.
Yeah.
Those bands needs to be still performing.
Absolutely.
The Stimulus band needs to be still performing. So as a brand, we are saying, yes, we can give you all this, but we still have to tap back into where we were and who we've been listening to. I've played music even for my kids, and they say, who is that?
Yeah.
Because it's interesting. It's different from what they're listening to now, but very much interesting. I'll find them now sneaking with their AirPods and listening to, hey, when I she leshe.
Yeah.
Billy
Munama there.
Exactly.
Zoe there.
Look at what Billy Munama is doing with grassroots.
Absolutely.
I mean, that program is giving
fantastic
every history of music that we have, whether it was hardship, whether it was joyful times, is the music, how those people presented them. And who goes out there and present all those musicians is the now generation.
Going back to that consistency point, and like I was saying, 26 years has been long. You are over the teens now. You are an adult now.
Fully adult.
Fully adult. And this is, the joy in the jazz that I saw moving, from State Theatre in Pretoria.
You umkhulu baba.
No, don't be fooled by this white hair. So I have seen this moving from State Theatre to the Newtown precinct and overgrowing the Newtown precinct and now going to the richest square mile on the African continent in Sandton. That phenomenal growth and that consistency, I think you guys need to be applauded. Your message to somebody who's just starting a show, because everybody wants to organize an event. Your message to them, nuggets that you want to dish out to them to say, these are the non-negotiables. This is what constitute, a show, and this is how you stick to your calling.
The first one will be respect your audiences.
Yeah.
The second one will be take care of your artists.
Yeah.
Bra Peter always say the artists are the coal of this train. And if we don't develop and harvest that coal, we'll end up not having shows.
Yeah.
Because there's nowhere to go and book and no one to go and book.
Busy one negotiator.
Exactly.
All the time.
And you are busy saying, hi, angnayo leyo mali.
Yeah.
We need to treat this that we are doing professionally.
Yeah.
Gone are the days when my grandmother used to ask me,
yeah.
Unese.
Yeah.
Or mistress. And, these are careers. And these people are going out there every day to work, whether it's a ticket shredder, whether it's a security company, whether it's a technical company.
Yeah.
We cannot take shortcuts in some of these things, in most of these things.
Yeah.
If I need a great marketing team to help us sell the festival, pay the great marketing team
to do the work.
A great amount of money to do the work.
Put in the infrastructure that yourself could use if you want to go to an experience. And Sis Mantwa, as we wrap up, you're traveling. You are a traveling buddy. I was actually surprised to find you in the country when I called. And your experience out of the traveling, not just to jazz shows, but all over the world, looking at musical roots, how they are cemented. You touch on it also. There's a merchandise, there's behind the scene guys, there's those hype stars. those that couldn't unfortunately make up to be artists or producers, but they actually knows the story in and out. They can tell you the history of jazz here in Mamelodi, but because unfortunately things didn't go according to plan, and not all of us can be artists. To what extent have your travels and learnings influenced how for over these years you have been packaging the joy of jazz? And to what extent will that reflect, say, in the next 5 years of the joy of jazz? What do you think it will look like, which will make people come over and over without repeating what has been done, but offering something new?
My travels have taught me, Baba, that you need to look deep and look hard into what you need to present on all those stages.
Yeah.
You cannot just wake up tomorrow and then you are advertising. No. And my travels have taught me in many festivals where I was an intern, or I still do internship for other festivals, has taught me that it's never a one-man show. It has to have departments and groups. And expertise of people, it's very important. I cannot try and curate a festival and try and sell it and talk about it and write press releases and do the sound. No.
And be also responsible for all your 100 friends that are asking for tickets.
I mean, it's too much work. From now, I'm preserving myself for all my friends who are going to ask me for tickets, so that I can explain to them that the reason why I can't give you a free ticket is because there are bills to be paid.
Then the importance of paying for tickets, consuming, especially where you are consuming quality.
I had a conversation with somebody at the tourism in Durban, and she said to me, "Oh my goodness, I couldn't come to the Joy of Jazz because the ticket was 1,350." And I said to her, "Okay, so the 1,350 divided by 5, 10, 15, 20 artists, you are literally paying 87 rands to see an act.
Yeah.
That's even little."
Yeah.
And she says, "Oh my goodness, I need to redeem myself."
And that time, the bottle of champagne that they are popping, that costs Babalas, not an experience that comes from musicians, costs more than 1.3.
I think we are in a space as South Africans that we need to realize that festivals or events or concerts are not just for entertainment. We create jobs.
Yeah.
These things are career driven.
Yeah.
There's somebody who's sitting with a PR company and a team that needs to be paid. There's somebody who's sitting in a technical sound that needs to be paid. Musicians themselves, if you pay one lead band member, the money that you give that artist is going to feed 20 other families.
Yeah. And I guess that's the importance of this creator's space. That it has the multiplier effect on creating jobs, sustaining it. And I guess as we wrap up, Sis Mantwa, the importance of having these types of events, shows consistently and almost on the same date and at the same time, always goes with friends to Eswatini. Shout out to Bushfire.
Yeah.
I know on the second last act on the Sunday, they beam the dates for next year, so that tomorrow morning when I check out of my accommodation, I actually book for the next one. The importance of such consistency, taking from the theme that we started with, from the speakers outside every Sunday to now ensuring that the only real jazz show in Africa that is a real jazz continues to be in Gauteng in September. The importance of such consistency.
Consistency that always builds up into excellency.
Yeah.
If you are, victory loves preparation.
Amen.
If you are going to be ready for 2026, you need to be preparing now.
Yeah.
We know the dates for 2026 now. We're already speaking to other people for 2026, because when you leave on the 28th of September, on that Sunday, tired after the 3 days of good music or great music, we want you to say, I am coming back.
Finally, I know there has been an adjustment to this year Joy of Jazz, an additional date.
Mm-hmm.
So those that continues to enjoy the ballads on a Sunday, there will be a show.
There will be a full show on Sunday. We actually, I started with saying we listened to music on Sunday.
Yeah.
So Sunday was our music day.
Absolutely.
And still.
It is. And now this now expands, the days for the Joy of Jazz.
Yes.
That
more
means
accommodation, more spend in restaurants,
more
bookings, more payments for technical sound, more artists in the lineup. How beautiful is that?
Beautiful. And I guess that makes you to stay for Sunday, enjoy the Sunday, and can be in the destination to enjoy our splendid Mohodu Monday.
Mm-hmm.
As we wrap up, I will not leave you without, and I know you might give me a joy sound, but what sound is Mantwa? Which song, from Shawele, next door to our dear president.
Oh, he's my homie.
Yeah. Which sound, which song, in your view, is and is still and will continue to represent the energy and the buzz that characterize this Golden City region?
Funny. I listen. I'm a seasonal listener. My mood with music.
Changes.
I listen to, yes, it changes.
What are you saying?
Robot. Lately, you would not be, you'll be surprised what I've been listening to. There's a song that I love. Isagala Vuma, yeah. Because I believe in, if saga means money, can the money say yes to us, please?
Go.
With the economy and things that are going around, can Isagala Vuma? It's a Mapiano song, right? Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, and sung by a very energetic
young boy.
Young boy who continues to make the wave. And I guess that's how we fuse things, and that's what created the sounds of jazz. It's a mixture of all the experiences, the toils and the tribulation. Again, that has been a fascinating episode of Gauteng Lifve. Sis Mantwa, thank you very much for gracing this platform. And we're really wishing you all the best as we look forward to the 26th edition of the Standard Bank Joy of Jazz.
Thanks for having me.
That has been another edition of Gauteng Lifve, your premier platform where we speak everything the creator, the visitor, and the tourism economy, interfacing it with tourism, visitor economy, and the creative sector. Don't forget to follow us at Visit Gauteng on Instagram and on Twitter. We are also at Visit Gauteng on TikTok. We are at I Love Gauteng on Facebook. Download the Visit Gauteng mobile app from your iOS and Google Play Store. And if you are running a business, do send us your business profile, your page, and information about your business. We will load it for free on the Visit Gauteng mobile app to ensure that we continue to spread the information that the tourism sector, the visitor economy is private sector-led, government-supported, community-based, and it continues to create the much-needed jobs. My name is Barba Gaoganediwe, and has been a fascinating experience of this show. Until the next episode, second round.